Nigeria's economic management team is optimistic about a near end to the prevailing hardship in the country. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, insists the present economic situation is far than what the Tinubu government inherited on the 29th of May 2023. National Assembly correspondent Jokia reports.
So that we excite the relevant.
This is the second in the series of the sectoral debates put together by the House of Representatives to deepen its constitutional oversight on the executive since the removal of subsidy on petrol in May 2023.
We must all confront the stark reality of the economic, fiscal, and revenue challenges that our beloved nation, Nigeria, is currently facing.
The economic management team takes the stand to brief the legislators on efforts ongoing to save the naira and regain its declining value and also slow down the rise cost of living.
When you attack food production, raise food production, you bring down the price of food, you bring down inflation, you get a chance to bring down interest rates, and there lies the road to investment.
The budget provided more money, both on nominal and in real terms, than has ever been provided in the priority sectors.
With over $800 million in volume of transactions as at Monday this week, the CBN governor says there is light at the end of the tunnel.
A lot of the rating agencies have rated Nigeria positive. They've moved from being stable to positive. And that is a very, very good sign indeed.
The chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service also added his voice to efforts at ensuring adequate resources accrue in government coffers.
We have the target for this year, based on the approved budget, to collect 19.2 trillion, which is 7.2 trillion, more than what we actually collected this year.
A barrage of questions followed the team's presentations as legislators asked to know how efforts have been translated to tangible impact in the lives of the people.
The common man just wants to hear when rice prices will come back to 30,000 below.
The value of Naira has progressively declined from a state of concern to a state of fear and panic. But the value of other currencies across Africa have been largely stable. How do we reconcile their realities?
After about 5 hours, the Deputy Speaker highlights the takeaways from the session.
Happy hearing about investment in LNG. I'm happy hearing about the railway, especially the one you mentioned, Calabar area and all. It's very important for you to go through the whole country.
Hopes are rekindled just as expectations are high, with the words of assurance coming from President Bola Tinubu's economic team of an imminent reprieve. Jokia, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on this development, I'm joined by the Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. Would you say the House was convinced listening to the economic team as regards the recovery plan during that session?
Yeah, you know, I want to thank you first for having me. I must say that the House of Representatives is the people's house, and our first priority is sensing the needs and pains of the Nigerian people with the rising cost of living. We felt that there was the need to pass this on to government. These are primary responsibility. So to be able to get these four gentlemen who are the key economic drive of this country at the moment in one room, and to be able to express to them the feelings of the Nigerian people was itself an achievement. And then to have these men, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Governor of the Central Bank, the Director General of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, to get these men to the nation, as it were, because it would appear like 200 million Nigerians sitting there through their representatives. That was reassuring that government is speaking to the Nigerian people. Then on top of that, we got information as to what government is doing. For instance, the over $800 million that was traded on Monday in the foreign exchange market, that's a positive signal because we've not had that volume of transaction in a while. So it shows that supply is improving, and therefore the exchange rate will begin to stabilize. Government have taken some very serious, tough decisions that perhaps should have been taken years ago. Collapse the dual exchange rate, stop the subsidy scam. And this government has done that, but the pain on the Nigerian people is the issue at stake. And we're able to get the assurance that government is putting up physical and monetary policies that will alleviate the suffering. It will appear like
is there a timeline to this assurance, and is there a sense of urgency from what you saw? For instance, they're talking about the inflation rate dropping to 21%. Is there a timeline, a time frame within which all of these goals are to be achieved?
Yeah, for the rate you mentioned, the thinking of the economic team that addressed us today was that before this year comes to an end, we would definitely have achieved 21%. But and the thinking that where we are right now is the worst. So we have nowhere to go but better. So things will gradually begin to improve as the naira that was overvalued has now become undervalued. So the impression we got from the meeting was that the naira is beginning to take its true value, and that will bring the inflation down and the prices of foodstuffs down, the cost of living down. And that's our hope and prayer. And we as legislators would follow up on this, oversight these MDAs, and make sure that there's action that follows the promise.
We're all counting on that, particularly when you consider that we're already hearing news of protests as regards the rise in price of food in some parts of the country. Chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive, thank you for talking.